You may please be seated. Thank you. Welcome, honorable members, Premier. The Secretary will now read the next order.
Begrotingspos 14, plaaslike regering, Wes-Kaapse aansuiveringsbegrotingswetsontwerp.
I now recognize the Minister.
Honourable Speaker, members of the House, colleagues, it is my pleasure to present the adjusted estimate for the Department of Local Government for the year 2019. As we speak, parts of the Western Cape is still under severe pressure with regarding the drought. The areas worst off are largely in the northern parts of the West Coast and the Karoo region of the Western Cape, where many areas have not had rain in the past 4 years. The good news is that the bulk of the province, including the city of Cape Town, is in better shape than that it has been for the past 5 years. The latest average dam levels for the entire province is 65%, and for the metro it is above 83%. This Department of Local Government has been at the forefront of tackling this ongoing disaster and has done some incredible work behind the scenes in managing to ensure that not a single community in the Western Cape ever ran out of drinking water. I want to acknowledge the efforts of the department and its officials for their hard work in this regard. Speaker, the current constrained economy and fiscal outlook, together with the ongoing economic uncertainty, means it is more important than ever that we ensure the efficient, effective and sustainable management of finances in the Western Cape. It should be of great reassurance to the public and this House to note that 79% of the Western Cape government entities and departments got clean audits in the past financial year. The measure is clear. The money we are allocated in this province goes where it is meant to go and does not go to funding politicians' personal lives and or enrich their families. But the reality is that this department too is not immune to the ongoing economic realities, and we also saw cuts to our budgets. The original budget allocated to this department was 335.4 million. This amount has been decreased by 16.1 million with the adjusted budget. The bulk of the savings in the department has been achieved by surrendering 13.9 million on COEs and the 3.5 saving from disaster management side. This brings total final and new allocation for this department to 319.2 million rand. Speaker, ons het die vorige naweek weer bewus geword van 4 jong kinders wat tragies verdrink het in ons see. My meegevoel en innige simpatie ook met die families en die vriende van die slagoffers. Ongelukkig is die risiko's vir sulke tragiese insidente altyd daar. As 'n departement wat ten nouste saamwerk met nooddienste, kan ek u verseker, kan ons die versekering gee dat ons alles doen wat ons kan om sulke tragedies te voorkom en om so gereed as moontlik te wees om te reageer en te help in die geval van nood. In die aanloop tot die komende feesseisoen en die gepaardgaande risiko's vir veldbrande en waterinsidente wat toeneem, wil ek net weer 'n beroep doen op die publiek om versigtig en waaksaam te wees om ons te help om tragedies te voorkom. Ek wil ook graag die departement en ons amptenare en al die nooddienswerkers en mense in die rampbestuur in absentia bedank vir hul harde werk die afgelope jaar en hul toegewydheid in die komende periode. Dit bly 'n plesier en 'n voorreg om saam te werk met 'n span wat toegewyd is. Hiermee lê ek die gewysigde begroting voor aan die huis. Ek dank u.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I now recognize Honorable America.
Good afternoon, Samlong. Samlong, allow me to provide a brief overview on the performance of the Department of Local Government in respect of the adjustments made for 2019-2020. In preparation for the provincial strategic planning process, an assessment was conducted to determine and prioritize the challenges and risks indicated by municipalities during the strategic and technical municipal engagements. Approximately 12 themes emerge from the assessments. Going forward, the view is to have these priority areas influence the annual performance plans and the strategic plans of both the province and local government. With the intended budget decrease and in anticipation of future budget cuts, this serves as a critical process. In an effort to strengthen citizen interface, the department supports municipalities with training programs on integrated community development planning to encourage participatory democracy and the use of other mechanisms to enhance institutionalization of the public participation process in municipalities. This is to ensure development is fit for purpose in every community in the Western Cape. Alongside this, the Tusong program has been tailored to ensure that citizens of the Western Cape can seamlessly access a wide range of integrated services in one location, irrespective of where they live. For this year in particular, over 50 farm and rural nodes were reached under this program. I further wish to commend the department for being the winner of 2 awards for the most outstanding province in Tusong Center coordination and outstanding mobile Tusong Center. Speaker, during 2015, in support of the national program of Back to Basics, a provincial support framework/strategy was developed and 10 municipalities were identified in the province for targeted support to strengthen institutional resilience. This program taught us many lessons, and based on those lessons, the province will continue to refine its process to ensure that the provision of support is consistently improved upon. With regard to the capacity enhancement of councillors, the department, in partnership with the Hans Seidel Foundation, conducted a winter school program for councillors. This winter school focused on ethical and responsible leadership. The department also supported municipal councils in fulfilling their roles and responsibilities by assisting with the review of the municipal systems and delegations, which is critical in ensuring administrative and operational efficiency and providing for adequate checks and balances within the municipality. Regarding the mentoring and support provided to municipalities with the implementation of the Municipal Property Rates Amendment Act of 2014, the department received accolades from the Department of Cooperative Governance for the best performing province in terms of monitoring and supporting municipalities with the implementation and compliance of this particular legislation. Speaker, we have heard earlier from the Minister of Agriculture as well as the Minister of Local Government the devastating impact of the drought in our province. The Department of Local Government is a lead department responsible for the coordination of the drought response in the province. Working with various stakeholders during the 2017-18 and 18-19 financial years, the department developed an integrated drought response strategy based on a two-pronged approach to ensure domestic water security in all towns within the Western Cape. In anticipation for the work to be performed by this task team, the department deployed full-time professional engineers to all the municipalities in the Karoo, supported by professional geohydrologists to explore all potential engineering, governance and financial solutions in support of the work to be covered by the response task team and its strategy. As part of this approved strategy, Mr. Speaker, Honourable Speaker, several priority projects were identified for urgent commencement to ensure water security, particularly in the central Karoo. Speaker, it is to be noted that the department spent 99.5% of its budget for the previous financial year. To coordinate a better response to service delivery constraints, I am thus convinced and confident that with the adjustments and decrease in its budget, the department will continue to fulfill its mandate and its responsibilities. Agbare spreker, jy sal hoor van die ander kant dat hierdie departement het agteruit geboer, het teruggekrabbel, in sover as die skoon audit verslag van die ouditeur-generaal betref. Maar laat ek die rekord reguit sit. Vanuit die 30 munisipaliteite in die Wes-Kaap het 26 munisipaliteite ongekwalifiseerde auditopinies gekry. Van die 26 het 12 skoon audits gekry. Moreover, Honourable Speaker, 89% of the province's municipalities recorded financial unqualified statements. Maar laat ons nie vergeet nie, in 2009, toe die ANC in beheer was in die Wes-Kaap, het geen provinsie enige skoon audits gekry nie. Enige departement nie. But Speaker, our councils are increasingly struggling with severe ongoing financial constraints due to the country's economic challenges. Despite this, the Attorney General did not find a single council in the Western Cape owing Eskom any money. With regard to the few areas where there are regression, the department has already embarked on a process of addressing those shortcomings that were identified. Spreker sal ook van die ander kant hoor dat hulle is diep besorg en bekommerd oor die vermoë van munisipaliteite om nie genoeg geld te hê om salarisse te betaal nie en om basiese dienste te lewer nie. Terwyl dit dalk miskien waar kan wees vir sekere munisipaliteite wat veral onder die ANC geregeer word. Maar ons as die Wes-Kaapse regering glo dat in hierdie provinsie sal ons nooit toelaat dat dit gebeur nie. According to independent studies by Ratings Africa, Honourable Chair, the Western Cape is the only province whose governance and service delivery practices are considered to be sound. Swartland Municipality had been identified as the best performing municipality in the Western Cape. They've also identified the 20 top municipalities in the country. 12 of those municipalities in the top 20 are in the Western Cape. The only municipality in the top 20 in Gauteng is Midvaal, and it is governed by the DA. In the Eastern Cape, 2 municipalities are in the top 20. One of those, Kukama, is governed by the DA. So, Mr. Speaker, that represents out of the top 20 best well-governed municipalities in South Africa, 14 are run by the DA. Speaker, to borrow an expression from my colleague, Minister Mania, in the end, for millions of South Africans living under DA-controlled municipalities, they are so much better off than living under ANC-controlled governance. So let me hasten to add, Speaker, this did not happen by accident. It is the result of a deliberate commitment by Minister Bredell to clean governance, supported by dedicated and highly ethical and competent staff, putting the interests of the people first. To the many councillors and mayors and staff in our municipalities across our province, who often work under difficult circumstances, delivering services to our people as best as they can, we salute and thank them. Speaker, the adjustments presented by the Minister Bredell here today were in committee supported by the DA, the ANC, as well as the EFF, and I thank you for that. In conclusion, Speaker, to those municipalities not under DA governance, more than 50 years ago, the words of Nobel laureate Bob Dylan will ring true and is still true. And I will not torture the house with my singing abilities. But I wish to say, come mothers and fathers on the other side, and don't criticize things you don't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend your hand, for the times they are changing. I thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable America, honorable members. I now recognize Honorable Smith.
Speaker, on its annual report, the department spoke extensively about its plans to continue strengthen its approach to support municipalities. It also stated that going forward, it will continue to refine its approach to ensure that the impact made on the provision of support is consistently improved on. Personally, I was in full support of such plans and had hoped that when we approach these budget adjustments, there would be more funds channeled towards strengthening municipal capacities. The opposite has happened, with over 16.1 million decrease in the department's budget. These budget cuts affect all programs of the department. Administration budget is decreased by 4.9 million. The budget for local governance, which promotes good governance in the municipalities, and to provide support and capacity building initiatives to municipalities, has been reduced. Sub-programs such as public participation have been cut. Capacity development has been cut. And municipal performance, monitoring, reporting, evaluation has also been cut by over 1.7 million. Speaker, while all of this is happening, I want to take a few minutes to look at what is happening in municipalities. While we are fed blue lies on a daily basis of a corrupt, free and best-run province and municipalities, the Auditor General exposed massive regression in the reports of 30 municipalities in the province. The number of municipalities that received clean audits dropped from 77% in 2015-16 to 40% in 2017-18. Given the above, it is really confusing why the department would choose to cut budgets instead of pumping money to improve municipal capacity. The regression in the municipal audits has to be blamed on the MEC. His role in the department is going around causing conflicts and divisions in municipalities. Take, for instance, his role in the chaos in George municipality and in Naisna. Poor and effective leadership, coupled with these chaotic budget cuts, has resulted in only 12 municipalities in the province getting clean audits. Over and above not getting clean audits, almost half of 30 municipalities in the province are experiencing liquidity risks. to then want to cut the budget for capacity development and municipal performance, monitoring, reporting and evaluation is really symbolic, to say the least. There is the support of the national program Back to Basics. The department developed a provincial support framework strategy which is funded through its budget. In 2015, 10 municipalities were identified for target support to strengthen institutional resilience. In the annual report of the department, we noted that to date, 4 municipalities have successfully exited the Back to Basics program, namely Cape Agulhas, Swellendam, Oudtshoorn, and Matsikama to exit during this current financial year. I had hoped to see more provision being made in the adjusted estimates to identify more municipalities, especially the 14 that are facing serious financial difficulties, including Matsikama, which we just took over from the DA, which is set to exit the Back to Basics program. Earlier in October, while responding to audit outcomes, I said, and I wish to reiterate, the MEC and the DA government should take full responsibility for the poor state of affairs in our municipalities. Through these adjusted estimates, things are set to worsen. The ANC wishes to reiterate its calls for the MEC and municipalities to urgently account for the legislature for the continued regression in audits, as well as other shenanigans like alleged tender irregularities at Stellenbosch municipality, which resulted in over 116 million worth of business being given to close family members and either senior officials and or councillors. DA councillors, by the way. Such things are what the additional transfers to various municipalities are funding. Under the different sub-programs, transfer to municipalities have been increased. Speaker, the importance of Program 3 of this department is crucial to promote, facilitate effective disaster management practices, ensure well-maintained municipal infrastructure, and to promote integrated planning.
Order, honorable members. Will you please take your seat, Honorable Smith? Honorable members, it's okay to be excited when another member speaks, but because we want to make sure that we can hear what they say, let us respect the decorum of the House. And I'm saying this to all of us. If I may just request your cooperation in that regard. Now I recognize Honorable Smith.
Thank you, Speaker. In these adjusted estimates, we have seen the budget for all sub-programs under Program 3 decreased. Municipal infrastructure is decreased by over 2.9 million. Disaster management is decreased by over 6.1 million. And for the integrated development planning coordination is cut by over R1 million. Through these budget cuts, the efforts of the department to coordinate effective disaster management, preparedness, intergovernmental relations, and recovery. The department is the lead department responsible for the coordination of the drought response in the province. These budget cuts will definitely have an impact on government's response to drought. My biggest concern also that while the department is cutting expenditure for disaster management, as a province we are entering the fire season, many people will die and lose belongings as a result of informal settlement fires. The need to improve public participation, especially in the IDP process, needs more attention and resources to give effect to service delivery as well as to improve quality of IDPs. The cutting of budgets for the IDPs is really unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Smith. I now recognize Honorable Makamba Pot.
Thank you, Speaker. Somlomo mandithethe into yokubana ayisiyabethakala lixesha silifumanayo apha. Ngale 2 minutes kufuneke ndizamile akho nto ndizakwazi uyithetha ncam. But izawuthi qaba. Thank you, Minister. The duty of Department of Local Government is to monitor, coordinate, and support municipalities to be effective in fulfilling their constitutional obligations and to facilitate service delivery by engaging with the other spheres of government. This is important because it offers a mechanism of checks and balances when it comes to the execution of municipal duties. However, it's a concern that in the Western Cape Department of Local Government, it has actually failed by large to monitor and coordinate municipalities throughout the province in making sure that they become effective in implementing national legislation and their constitutional obligations. It's also a great concern, the issue of inclusionary housing policy, which should be drafted and implemented by municipalities. The City of Cape Town has been avoiding to develop such policy throughout the years, even when national legislation required this. And likewise, the Western Cape Department of Local Government has not done anything to help the municipality in coordinating such a policy. The result of this is that there are now various new housing developments throughout the city, which exclude those in low to medium income levels. And again, the department is doing nothing about this. When it comes to the issue of creating employment within the department, the findings are also shocking. When one takes a glance at these 2019 adjustments estimate on sub-program 3.1 regarding municipal infrastructure, the department deliberately delays filling of positions on purpose and shifts the very same funding that was intended for those posts and give them to their ex-official friends as gratuity leave. It does not make sense at all to starve youth of the employment opportunities. For the sake of economical enrichment, old and the white dear officials have talked.
Your time is up. Siyabule. Injalo manqoba kunzima. Now I recognize Honorable Heron.
Speaker, I would have given my time to the honourable member from the EFF. I'm not going to address this vote.
Oh, thank you, Honorable Heron. I now recognize Honorable Christians.
Thank you, Speaker. My main concern is just the money, Program 1, Program 2, 3, submitted to the Provincial Revenue Fund. This is a small department with a small budget, and yet this department renders money back to the Provincial Revenue Fund. I don't know why the chairperson of the committee said, in anticipation of budget. What excuse is that? Budget cuts. Use the money or don't use it. But to surrender it to the Provincial Revenue Fund, it's a big sin. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Christians. I now recognize order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. I now recognize Honorable Murray.
Baie dankie, voorsitter. Ek wil die hele probleem van 'n ander hoek af benader. I realize that you talk about economic viability, factors, service delivery, etc., etc. But has the time not come that we must look at our criteria for having demarcated these municipalities the way they are now? Are they economically viable in the rural areas? Are there sufficient input by communities? Are what they need and want as priorities taken into consideration? Isn't it time that we redefine boundaries in terms of people' immediate needs and don't let the mighty dollar be dominant in all our decisions? We must stop being capitalists and become service of the poor as well. Because capitalism is the biggest generator of wealth, but it's the poorest distributor of wealth.
Baie dankie, Honorable Murray. Your time is up.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know whether he's applauding because
Baie dankie.
what I said or because you said my time is up. Please explain.
I hope it is the latter.
Thank you.
Baie dankie, meneer. Baie dankie. I now recognize Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Thank you to the Chairperson and to the Standing Committee for their oversight role. To the Honourable Smith, I really don't understand where you're coming from. It's no wonder. Agbare Speaker, dit is baie eenvoudig. Ek dink ons moet verstaan, eerstens, waar kom die provinsiale begrotings vandaan? Dit begin als by, en al die druk, waarom ons onder hierdie geweldige druk is weens 'n totale mislukte ANC nasionale regering, wat ons in bankrotskap in bestuur het. Nou moet provinsies, want ons het nie 'n inkomstebasis nie, 90% van ons begroting kom van nasionaal. So as daar korrupsie op nasionale vlak is, dan spreek dit deur na die provinsies toe. Ons ondersteun munisipaliteite, ons moniteer hulle en ons help hulle om hulle diensleweringsaspekte te verbeter, maar ons doen dit nie namens hulle nie. Ons kan nie ingaan en projekte namens munisipaliteite doen nie. Dit lyk my, die agbare Smit dink ons kan instap en die munisipaliteite oorneem. Die OG en vandag eendag het ek altyd gesê dat solank ons bly by die kategorie ongekwalifiseerd en skoon is ons gelukkig. Dis 'n baie fyn lyn, and we will always promote that because we cannot allow the audit process to hamper service delivery at the end of the day. So there's huge debates going on, maar as jy kyk na wat in die provinsie gebeur het, want dis nie 'n munisipale debat vandag nie. Ons het 79% skoon oudes, die naaste aan ons is 30% op provinsiale vlak. Daar is 'n geweldige gaping. Wat die Back to Basics program betref, ek dink ons is die enigste provinsie wat munisipaliteite uit die Back to Basics program uitgekry het, dat hulle op hulle eie voete kan staan, en weer eens baie geluk aan my HOD en sy span. Jy sien, die agbare Smit kritiseer ook en sê ons saai divisie. Ons het vandag eendag, en enige iemand weet, ongeag jou politieke affiliasies, as jou vingers in die til is, gaan ons dit ondersoek en ons gaan dit afkap. Ons het dit altyd gesê, en as if there's whistleblowers coming to the front, we obliged to investigate. We sent in forensics, we sent in the hawks, and then they hand their report over to the public prosecuting authority. If that system dropped us, then it's not our fault. If there's any transgression, we will act. I don't care who's the mayor, I don't care. We owe this to the people of the Western Cape. Clean, sufficient governance. If it's not there, then we've got a problem. And if I must do 10 forensic investigations in the municipality, I will do that, because I'm not there to be popular, I'm there to protect the citizens. And we all need to do that. On the cuts, we're also worried about the cuts, but it stems from what has happened on a national level. We also would love more money, but unfortunately we must do with the little that we've got, and we're doing a great job in this province. The EFF is correct, we monitor and support, but there I will leave it, because then we enter into housing policies, etc., and maybe my colleague can respond later on to that. Thank you to the colleague of Good who support the budget. Thank you to it's a bit shocking that the ACDP, you were chairperson of SCOPA, you know how these things work. And you used to be. And it's funny that you must just attend at the committee, and then you would have known where
Honourable
where it's coming
Minister,
from.
will you please take your seat? Honourable Deputy Chief Whip of the Opposition.
Speaker, on the point of order, and I don't want to sound as if I'm repetitive and a stuck record, but a principle was emphasized in the morning already, that members, we don't speak directly to each other, we speak through you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable Said. Honourable
Agbare
Minister.
Speaker, as die agbare lid Christians die staande komitee bygewoon het, sou hy presies geweet het waar die geld vandaan kom. Dit was hoofsaaklik weens die ingenieurskapasiteit wat ons nie op 'n jaarkontrak kon aangestel het, en die geohidroloog vir die Karoo area nie. Daardie tipe kundigheid kry jy nie vir 'n jaar kontrak nie. Dit is 'n les wat ons geleer het. Ons agbare kollega van die Vryheidsfront Plus, die afbakeningsdebat is 'n baie interessante debat. Dis 'n debat wat ons kan hê. Ek is net nie oortuig en ons moet erken dat baie van ons munisipaliteite, ons moet teruggaan na wat het gebeur met groter munisipaliteite. Die idee daar agter was om 'n munisipaliteit te kry met 'n kern-ekonomiese basis waarvandaan almal kon groei. Dit was die idee daar agter. Sekere munisipaliteite het nie daai kern gehad nie. 'n Cederberg, 'n Matsikama, ons kan baie opnoem, 'n Kannaland, etc. Om hulle op te sny in 'n groter, kom ons sê 'n groter metro soos die Gautengse model, dink ek nie gaan werk nie, want jy gaan 'n groter armoedepool skep. Maar dat ons wel daardie debat moet hê, dink ek is baie belangrik. Ons moet 'n wyeer debat hê oor die politieke bestel waarin ons is. Gee dit vir ons werklik die dienslewering wat ons mense verdien, en ek dink dit kan 'n baie interessante debat wees as ons net almal ons politieke hoekies sal afhaal. Ek dankie vir die ondersteuning en baie dankie, agbare spreker.
Baie dankie, Minister. Now, that concludes this vote. May I just request that we go straight to the next vote, please? I now request the Secretary to read the 7th order.
Begrotingspos 7, maatskaplike ontwikkeling, Wes-Kaapse aansuiwering